Hello friends, welcome to Excellence Guide. Most of the people study everything, but remember, nothing in their exam. But you can be the smart one. My tried and tested simple revision techniques would help you revise even 500 pages book in just 8 to 10 hours. So let's get started. Tip number 1, plan revision from day 1. Normally, when do you think of revision? One day before the exam. But if you do that, then you may very well know that even 200 pages cannot be completed in 8 hours. Then how are we going to revise 500 pages? For that, you need to first plan your revision from the day you start studying. So our tip number 1, plan revision from day 1. Don't worry if you have already started studying, you may still plan your revision. But start it today. Coming on to tip number 2, focus on important things only. In my video, it's just the tips that are important and rest everything is my explanation. That is very similar to our books, where only a small part is relevant and rest everything is the explanation of it. You need to identify those areas, highlight it and focus on them. So our tip number 2, focus on important things only. For more insights on tip 2, you may watch my next video, Effective Highlighting, 3 words to memorize. Then our tip number 3, revision at least twice before exam. How irritating is that we study hours and hours and then in exam, we cannot remember a word. But when we start discussing it with our friends, that thing suddenly pops out. Why does it happen? This is because we don't activate our search button. In our computer, our brain, search button is the revision. If you don't revise, you will not be able to remember things at the right time. Revise at least twice before the exam. First, revise everything a week before the exam and then second revision would be the day before the exam. So that's our tip number 3, revision at least twice before the exam. Coming on to tip number 4, revise only what you have studied earlier. Believe me, we all are greedy. And also while studying, we are greedy. Even if you have studied 80 to 90%, but when we sit down for revision, we'll run behind the remaining 10 to 20%. And then what happens? In this process, we lose out for more than 50%. So our tip number 4, revise only what you have studied earlier. Last but not the least, tip number 5, divide revision with your time. Imagine you are traveling in a train. Train starts at a very slow speed of 20 km per hour and then suddenly speed jumps up to 10 times 200 km per hour. Maddening, right? That's the same thing we do while revising. At start, we feel this load of time. And then, first 50% is revised in 80% of the time. And then when time runs out, we just rush. And then rest 50% is revised and left out 20% time. Now, that's a problem. So to solve this, you can divide your revision topics with your time to figure out the time available for each topic. Now that's a tip number 5, divide revision with your time. Let us quickly summarize. Tip number 1, plan revision from day 1. And how are you going to plan it? So my rest 4 tips would help. So, second tip, focus on important things only. And key to remember everything is tip number 3, revision at least twice before the exam. And don't be greedy. Through my tip number 4, revise only what you have studied earlier. And always maintain a constant speed. Through my tip number 5, divide revision with your time. When you follow these simple tips, you will be surely able to revise everything that you have studied earlier. And through my experience, a 500 pages book in just 8 to 10 hours. Through this, you don't have to sacrifice on your sleep or daily routine during exam. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and do subscribe. And until then, thanks for watching.